Welcome to the How to Heal podcast, the show where we explore real life stories and practical tools to thrive. I'm your host, Lindsay Trimarchi Richter, and through over a 15-year journey of all things healing, I'm here to hook it up. If you're feeling overwhelmed, looking for a deeper connection, or straight up in a psycho-spiritual crisis, I got you covered. Let's unearth your unique elixir to purpose, peace, and progress. Here we go. What's up, people? I am excited to talk today about something that is just so accessible for everybody and something that really brings me back to earth when I'm just really getting in my head. And I think a couple of things I want to start with is the purpose of How to Heal is to really show you how to integrate your head and your heart. That is where the magic happens. The first place to go under a stressful circumstances, leave the heart and use the brain to figure out how to be safe. And unfortunately, in the world that we live in, and for quite some time, we've had to over dramatize the state in which we're living. So we're creating more stress than we need to get certain things done that are just not stressful. When we're in a circumstance like that, when we're really just not feeling connected to our body, the flag goes up and it says, come back to your body, come back to your breath. And we're going to talk today about how to get back to your body. You always start with the body, the physical pillar. This is where we're at again. This is what we're going to talk about today. So your body has a story to tell. And many times when we grow up and we're in situations that are stressful or traumatic, our body stores that memory. The amazing thing about always coming back to the body is that you always have the opportunity to completely unfold the new, better, more evolved version of yourself through your physical body. You know, before we even know that we're not in our body, we've left way before we realize. And I think that's the tricky part from a mental health component is that we leave our body and we are floating in our heads and our body is like, hello, is anyone home? And, we're moving through the world in a way where it's like, okay, I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do this. And we're forgetting our body has all the information that we need. Our body is our vessel. Our body is our temple, is our wisdom, is our lived wisdom, is where we've stored all of the good, all of the bad, all of the ugly. So we must come back to the body every single day. And hopefully, as we become more sentient beings, every single moment, we are paying attention to our body and how we're feeling in our body and what our body is telling us and the information that we're getting from our body to really just move with and communicate with intention. So there are some topics I want to discuss today. We're going to talk about a very simple way to be kind to your body, and that is diet, right? And what we feed our body physically. I think that there's merit to being a human in a human experience and having a human experience. So I'm not going to preach here that everyone should be vegan and everybody, and you should be drinking green juice every day. And but there's a very simple reality. Meat is very heavy and vegetables are light. From an energetic perspective, that is the truth. So I don't care if meat is good for your brain and the amino acids help you function, but great. I'm so happy that that feels good for you. Do that. Just understand that when you're pumping your body with something on a consistent basis, it's either going to add to the lightness of it or add to the heaviness of it. And you have to be aware that that's happening. I can't handle the amount of information coming out about what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, who to listen to. It's so annoying. And I know it can be super isolating when we're carrying extra weight and we're just like, I want to lose this weight. Like, give me any information. I'll take anyone, like whatever's going to work, I'm going to listen to. I've been there. I've been there. I've also done the intuitive eating route. I've also, been like, okay, well, like, let me listen to my body and like, what does my body really want and all this stuff. And the issue with all of this is that it's a mixture of all of the things that we're talking about. It's not just that one is bad and the other is good. Like intuitive eating is good and like regimented dieting is bad. That's not how it works. The reason intuitive eating is difficult is because when your body is burdened physically by super heavy processed foods or just too much food, you can't listen to the natural rhythms of your body. So intuitive eating doesn't really work until you're at a place of homeostasis and lightness. So I think like the best place to start if you're in doubt is salads, water, and just raw foods. Like, I would even go so far as to say, like, if you're feeling you want to have more lightness in your body, stay away from nuts, stay away from like, cooked foods for a little bit. Just like get in the sun, like be light. And that's really all I'm going to talk about with food. Food has always been a passion of mine, from just enjoying delicious food to being really cognizant of what's healthy, what's not, studying different diets, studying different health benefits of food. I've really been all over the place on food, and this is not the point of this episode, but I do want to say that as we continue to get closer to our body, we really have to do the things we know are good for our body. We really have to just like lay off the sugar, lay off the processed foods. That goes without saying. And for me, nuts always slow my system down. And this is the next thing I want to talk about is just like the bathroom, like how you go to the bathroom and how you're eliminating. Like that also contributes to like the heaviness of your body. Everyone knows when you go to the bathroom and you do a huge poop, you feel amazing. But that's like not, it's like, yes. What happens is as we get older and we are not as regular, or we've just burdened our body with so much heavy food, the that feeling becomes less and less. I'm doing colon hydrotherapy now, which is really an interesting journey for me. I am not deep enough into the journey yet to really talk about it on here intelligently. But I can just say the concept of removing waste from your body is what I preach. It's what I came out of the gate on in the first episode, the first physical episode. So stay tuned for that. I'm certain I'm going to have a colon hydrotherapist on here to discuss. And we'll go into diet and how that plays into that as well. If you're interested in preliminarily learning about colon hydrotherapy, I'll put it in the notes for you guys. So, something that I've been using is a device called Heart Math. I'm not in any way sponsoring or like, affiliated with them, but it measures your heart's coherence and it's directly related, for me at least, to breathing. So, what I realized, and I heard something a really long time ago, it's like a breath is sending a love note to your body. And I love that because I know through this heart math device that when I'm taking deep breaths into my heart, that I'm creating homeostasis, relaxation, calmness, and like love in my body. So I think deep, long breathing is something that, we should really get in touch with. And I love deep, long breathing when, especially, we're getting body work. So if we're doing a massage or we're getting a foot massage, it's great. Or if we're, even getting like just breathing into the discomfort, breathing through the natural rhythms to get yourself in a place where you're feeling like connected. You're like connecting everything that's going on through these long rhythmic deep breaths, and you don't stop and you keep the flow going. So, like, long rhythmic breathing has been really powerful for me to come back to my body. And I can tell, like, if I'm stressed out or I'm tired, my breath is super shallow and quick. And that's the time where it's like, okay, we're going to get out the heart math device. I'm going to stare at my heart's coherence and how it's responding to my breathing. Because again, like when we are stressed, the first thing we abandon is our heart and we go to our head. That's why heart attacks are so prevalent because everyone is stressed out. We don't need our heart to, if our heart dies, we don't die. It's when our brain dies, we die. So, like, our heart can take a little bit more of a beating than our brain, at least from like a neurological perspective, right? Like, thing that's keeping our soul like sort of like aware is the neurological aspect of our brain. So the brain, it gets all the credit for everything, but the heart is really the most beautiful thing about our bodies. So we have to pay attention to it. And heart breathing is something that I really, really recommend, and something that has really changed the way I'm able to be present in my body. So when we talk about trauma and anything that we've been in the presence of that's been traumatic, and typically what happens is our body becomes frozen when we're experiencing fear and unable to move. So when we talk about somatic therapy, we're really getting into the physical emotions of experiencing release. And I know a lot of people are big fans of ecstatic dance. And again, I talk about this with yoga, just like the ability to move through a situation that maybe even be subconscious, but to move through, it's like happening in our body. We're just not aware of it. And we just sort of like cross over another finish line and we're like, oh, what was that? Like that was that, what was that that was just released? So, but the beautiful thing about doing those releases is like coming back and forth and moving ever so gently and finding your own rhythm of, okay, this feels good. Like I feel comfortable here. I feel like myself here. I'm creating something that feels like it's me. And guys, so many times we look to these doctors for the answers and they don't have them. And we have to empower ourselves to get into the like weirdness of things where it's like, oh, I wouldn't really do that. Maybe it's not even weird, but you just wouldn't even think to do it. I was guiding through a meditation and I was guiding her to like sit in her menses. And I think that the reason that came up was because we need to own our physical bodies. We need to own the processes in which things happen. We need to not be apologetic for our natural rhythms and what it takes to remain grounded and be individuals and birth children and have fun. And we have to own this. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is the time where we're saying, like, I am who I fucking am. Go fuck yourself. Like, that's the conviction. That's the I don't care what you think about me. And guess what? It's not even directed at a person. It literally is the entity of the energy that has been on us for so long. Hide that. Don't show anybody that. That's not like cute. That's not acceptable. That's not, whatever. We have to really sit in the realness of who we are and get dirty in it and get dirty in it. So, another modality that I like to use that combines sort of the mental aspect with the physical aspect is EFT, which is tapping. So, EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and you have meridian points on your body. The first is the karate chop points at the end of at the side of the pinky at the heel of the hand. The second is the top of the head. The third is on the inside of the eyebrow. The fourth is outside of the eye, above your lip, below your lip, on your collarbone, and then under your armpit. And then also on each fingertip on the inside of, like towards your pinky, you tap where your nail is on that portion of the nail, on that side of the nail, through all the fingers, and then you go back to the karate chop point. And just doing that, just tapping those points, like really just releases a lot of nervous energy, stress. It calms the body down, it lets you process. And the reason it's called emotional freedom technique is because typically while you're tapping through these points, you're talking about difficult things and emotions that you're going through. And typically, the whole process is in the beginning, you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 on the level of stress that you have. And then at the end, you rate that as well. So you'll see it go down. The nice thing about emotional freedom technique is that it gives you an opportunity. You don't need to go through that whole rating system, script, like all these things. You can literally just tap on those points and relieve stress. Like your body is like, oh, okay, it's safe, it's safe, it's safe, you know? So I'll also include some EFT information below in the show notes. I went to the spa yesterday. I mean, the spa. I went to Spa Castle in Queens. For those of you who are familiar, it's like a Korean day spa, and I got there at like 10:30 on a Monday, and got this amazing Korean body scrub, and then I got some reflexology, and it was only during that, like the middle of each of the treatments where I was like, oh my God, like I'm so tired. I'm carrying around a 1 year old. I have a 5 year old who we're learning how to be a big sister and not the only one in the house. And I'm just carrying a lot of emotional weight around the house and along with physical and mental, all of the things. And it wasn't until I was in these healing sessions that I was like, oh my God, I have so much more to release. And I think massage is just a really beautiful thing to do for yourself. So, yes, it's so amazing if you could go get a massage. I would be getting massages like weekly, bi-weekly if I could. But one thing that I recommend, I think I posted this in the show notes in the first physical episode, is gua sha. So just taking a stone and rubbing it all over your body, starting on your legs, on your feet. There is a Indian yogic healing modality called Abhyanga. So that is basically when you apply oil to your body and you just massage your body like with warm oil. And, you know, that is the very simplicity of getting in touch with your body and letting your body know that you're there because you're the one touching it. And like the closer you can get to your body and knowing that, okay, it's safe to be in my body, it's safe. Like when I am going through something with working through energetically doing body work on myself, I'm also talking to my body and saying, it's okay. Like, I'm here. Like, let's just stay there. Let's stay here together in this pain right here. We're just going to feel this out. We're just going to stay present right now. I'm here. Because a lot of the time we talk about that trauma and it being stored, and that little person who was experiencing the trauma didn't have anyone to comfort them through the moment. So now, as an adult, we come back to our bodies and we say, I'm here, I'm here, I'm going to work on this with you. We're going to get through this. I'm witnessing this pain that you had, so the last thing I want to talk about is just the chakras and how we always want to start from the bottom up. We have the 7 chakras, the root, the sacral, the solar plexus, the heart, the throat, the third eye, and the crown. And that is like an energetic way to reorient yourself and say, okay, like, how am I going to come back to my body? I'm going to start at the root. I'm going to sit in the redness. I'm going to sit in whatever it is of like feeling like so connected to the earth and so present with Mother Earth, because our bodies are part of the earth. And that's where we can really come back to the walking bare feet on the ground, on grass, like laying in the grass, feeling the coldness of the earth against your body, and like praying to the earth. Like, I love, someone had recommended to me, like, go in the ocean, have the sea salt wash over your body and pray, like devotionally pray and ask and be in awe of Mother Nature, like pray in the ocean, like have her hold you. Like, that is the essence of just coming back to your body. So if you're tired, I totally hear you, and I hope that some of these modalities I talked about today will be helpful for you. And I'm sending you so much love, and I'll see you on the next episode.